They give you nothing. It's really hard and blunt to hear that, but I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to be here and to go against the stream and do this beautiful work. What did they give us? Look, Sharon Salzberg, the great, great meditation master, meditation teacher who brought us the loving kindness mantra, may I be happy, healthy, and safe and live with ease. It's her words. It's this person who's alive and well who brought these words over. I was talking to her on my podcast, and she said something that I already knew, right? Because a big belief in Buddhism is that samsara, this reality, is inherently flawed, and that brings grace to me to know that like I'm not the only one that thinks there's something wrong with the world. But she said this reality is a bad design. And it just really relaxed my nervous system to have someone who's been sitting in stillness for 5 decades, 4.5 decades, to say that. I really relaxed because as a person of color and queer, and then you are disabled, add another layer of texture to your experience. It's society is the gig is rigged, right? Which means the game of human pathologizes and criminalizes a lot of our experience. And these are important things to say, that when we are approaching a spiritual practice, seeing if the teacher, obviously Lynn is extremely trauma informed, such a master at what she does, but always just noticing if you feel safe around who you are sharing, and then really listening to that, because I have to be honest, I had to fight my way into these monasteries. I had to fight my way into these dharma centers because it was predominantly white hetero men, you know and there was no one like me there. There was no one that sounded like me, or they weren't necessarily curious about me. They looked at me as like an exotic animal that they wanted to gaze at but not get too close, because if they got too close, that means that they were part of that experience. So I feel you, my dear. And as much as I can feel into your experience, I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes. And I just want to say, on behalf of humanity, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the gig is rigged, that currently the systems that are at play do not support Black, brown, queer, disabled bodies, that the society that we live in is it's very elitist, it's very ableist, it's very queer-phobic and racist, and we just have to be honest about that. But then I want you to believe something. I want you to believe that there's a world that racism ended. I want you to believe that there's a world that queer phobia ended, that ableist approach to life has ended. And I want you to just spend a few hours, maybe a day, believing in that. I just had a friend of mine on my podcast, Justin Michael Williams, who wrote a book called How We Ended Racism. And it's a bold call because there's no better racism. There's no better queer phobia. It has to end, it has to end. So your question is one that I grapple with regularly. And all I can do is self-compassion to myself, and then seek out teachers and resources that we feel safe around, you know? And I just want to applaud you. I don't know how old you are and where you're at in your life currently, but I just want to applaud you. The courage, the boldness, the authenticity to rise up. And even speaking up this question is a political act, is an act of resistance. It is you learning, not even learning, but swimming up against the stream and saying no. I get to say no. And guess what? You're saying no for all of your ancestors who didn't have the chance, who were marginalized to their death. But here you are, practicing freedom, embodying freedom, speaking about freedom, So you're a hero. You're a hero. You're a victor, you know? And the victim mindset can creep in because there's enough evidence to see the perpetrator and to put ourselves back in a victim mindset. But I want you to, my blessing, my hope is that you arrive at moments of realizing that you are the hero, that you are the victor, that what you're doing is not just for you, but it's for all the Black, queer, disabled people who didn't get the chance to speak up, to say enough. So I do it for them. And you're going to make me cry. I do it for them. I do it for them. And I do it for my mama now, too, you know, who's now is my biggest guardian angel on the other side. So do it for them. I dance for her. I serve for her, you know. So do it for them. When we lose the plot about doing it for us, think about mama, think about grandma, think about everyone who's come before us who didn't have the chance to be in this room, to have these teachings, to have this capacity. And remember, you're already the hero. You're already the hero because you found these practices. All right? I hope that's helpful.